What is going on with Skull and Bones? Ubisoft announced this pirate naval game at E3 2017. It was their big end of the show reveal with a fall 2018 release window, and then showed it again at E3 2018 and asked people to join a beta that I don't think ever happened. Well, after E3 2018, they went very quiet. But actually, a lot has happened since then, and I think that when we see this game again, it will be significantly different than it was before. In this video, I want to refresh your memory and look at what we already know about Skull and Bones, and also why I think it will be way bigger than we initially thought. A like on the video would be really appreciated, and let's go. I'm, by the way, doing a new giveaway for a 2020 game of your choice on your platform of choice. All you need to do is follow the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win, and be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. I will announce the winner on March 1st. And you sadly cannot choose Skull and Bones, because that game is now slated for beyond March 2021, so in Ubisoft's fiscal year 22. You likely remember that Ubisoft delayed Rainbow Six Quarantine, Gods and Monsters and Watch Dogs Legion in October 2019. Well, then they also moved Skull and Bones away to likely 2021. And I think it's great news for this game, so the developers can make it a way bigger experience than we first anticipated. Like the multiple cinematics they released did a great job of getting us in that pirate mood, and it makes you believe that this is also a game where you can actually leave your ship. And I remember looking at the gameplay reveal and hoping that that would actually be the case, but no, your character is your ship basically, and all the combat and gameplay will play out on the sea. And sure, the gameplay is way more fleshed out than we see in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Black Flag, for example. You have different ships that all have different specialties. The Blackhorn ship is built for ramming opponents, the Jaeger ship is more focused on firepower, and in the E3 2018 demo there was also a ship that was more like a tank with 30,000 health instead of 20,000. And during combat, there are also way more ways to destroy your enemy, like there are way more weapon options that you can actually also upgrade, and the cannons have a level of power as well. There are overall just way more stats for your ship that you have to worry about. We also got artillery rockets, and just the more you win and the more you level up, the more options you unlock to improve your ship. They also teased a ton of cosmetic options for your ship, like figureheads, we of course also saw in Odyssey. You can also select different wheels, but that seems to be mostly it, and it makes sense because in this older version you would be stuck on your ship. And this would also mean that when you were finally ready to board a ship, you will just see a short cutscene play that shows your crew members taking over the enemy ship, and that was about it. There were also islands or other locations that you could interact with. When you were close, you could choose to visit the location and then select from different options. Loot the place, get a repair kit for your ship, or deception. And this is actually pretty cool because then you can take over the sails from another ship, so then the enemies can think that you are on their side or from a different faction altogether. And also this will help versus big forts that will shoot at passing ships from the enemy faction. So if you use the sails from another ship, then this fort might not shoot at you, so you can easily pass by. But yeah, for every option that you could select after visiting a location, you would just see a small cutscene play. It would have been way cooler if you could actually leave your ship and then loot the place yourself and maybe grab that repair kit. Or that when you are ready to board a ship, you actually go to the enemy ship, kill the crew members, like we saw in the aforementioned Assassin's Creed games as well. And this comment under the IGN E3 2018 gameplay video sums it up great. From reading the comments, it all sounds like we want a revamped AC Black Flag without having to deal with all the AC stuff, and with a more immersive and expanded RPG experience. And this is not what the Skull and Bones was that we saw at E3 2018. But I really hope that they are turning this game into that with the extra time that they are getting now. Again, it was slated for fall 2018 and will now likely launch almost 3 years later than that. The last time that Ubisoft openly talked about Skull and Bones was in May 2019. This is when they also released released this video talking about how they were going to skip E3 2019. And in a financial call around that time, it sounded like Skull and Bones was going to be way more ambitious than it was back when they revealed it in 2017. Saying that the game now has a massive scope, and next to naval battles and PvP will also be more co-op and an RPG style of game. And that they wanted to give the team enough time for the direction that this game is taking. In 2018 we saw the release of Sea of Thieves, a game that Skull and Bones was immediately compared to when both games were not out yet. Sea of Thieves was going for that more cartoony approach, although we very soon realized that Sea of Thieves was going to be way more than just a ship battle simulator. Here it was more about having fun as a pirate, and the sea battles were just one part of that. Like, you can also play music with friends or go on a treasure hunt on the many islands. Later the whole trolling other players became pretty big on Twitch, and as of January 2020, the game has now over 10 million players. And sure, this is partly because of Game Pass, where everyone with a subscription can try it out, but it does show you that there's an audience for a type of game like this. A game where you and your friends can roleplay as pirates and make your own adventures in a world where you can also encounter other players. And the more realistic graphics and bigger budget of Skull and Bones might even reach way more people than Sea of Thieves. The start of the E3 2018 gameplay demo is what I want this game to be. Here we see a character in a third-person mode walk through a visually impressive pirate hideout and go up to a shopkeeper to upgrade his ship. It would be very cool if we could freely explore this area and the other islands in the world. E3 2018 was all about the Hunting Grounds open world multiplayer mode that I hope they will just expand upon. So back in 2018 you could sail in this open world and take out AI controlled ships, or also sail up to islands and visit the location and maybe get some cargo, while again remaining on your ship. But you could also come across players and then invite them to your group and forge an alliance. This mode already had some great ideas, and it was fun to betray some players that first called you a friend by leaving the group and then suddenly attacking them. But still, I was unsure if the naval combat was going to be fun for hours after hours. Adding third-person sword fighting and shooting to it could already make for way more varied and enjoyable gameplay. And at the end of the E3 2017 announcement, they also teased the Kraken, so just world events like that could be very cool to experience after you just raided an island with some friends. And many of the developers that are working on this game at Ubisoft Singapore have experience with the AC games in the past. Of course, the whole idea came after Black Flag. So that does mean that they have experience making third-person action games where you actually control a character. Like we have Carl, for example, who was even a producer on Origins and Rogue before moving on to Skull and Bones. The game is in good hands, and I hope they really do what is necessary to make it even more appealing from a gameplay perspective. The delay was also hand in hand with the departure of Justin Varyn though, the creative director on Skull and Bones, so the lead on the project. It's never good to see a leader like that leave so far in the development, so I hope that that did not impact the development too much. I really can't wait to see this game again, and when we do, we will likely see it on a next-gen console too, because the 5 upcoming AAA Ubisoft games that will launch before April 2021 will all be cross-gen already, and Skull and Bones was always in development for the current-gen system, so it just makes a ton of sense. More importantly though, fingers crossed that the game is more than a PvP naval title. It should also have a single-player campaign, but I can't really see how that's exciting if you cannot leave your ship. I would not be surprised if Skull and Bones skipped E3 again this year, because Ubisoft just has way too many games that they want to release before this pirate game. Although I hope I'm wrong, because I'm curious to see what it looks like now that they got way more time. I would imagine that that TV show that they wanted to do with Atlas Entertainment has also been delayed. It was supposed to be a female-driven drama set at the end of the golden age of piracy, in the 1700s. It shows you that Ubisoft has pretty big plans for the IP, and I think that if they deliver on the whole pirate fantasy, that they do have gold in their hands. So when we know more, I will of course let you know here, so totally subscribe for more on upcoming Ubisoft games and Skull and Bones. Like this video to support the channel, check out the giveaway in the pinned comment, and totally check out my previous video on some massive changes that are happening inside Ubisoft and how it could impact games like Skull and Bones. For now though, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.